Recorded Books and R.B. Digital present Mr. Palomar by Italo Calvino, translated by William Weaver, narrated by Luis Moreno. Mr. Palomar's Vacation. Mr. Palomar on the beach. Reading a wave. The sea is barely wrinkled, and little waves strike the sandy shore. Mr. Palomar is standing on the shore, looking at a wave. Not that he is lost in contemplation of the waves. He is not lost, because he is quite aware of what he is doing. He wants to look at a wave, and he is looking at it. He is not contemplating, because for contemplation you need the right temperament, the right mood, and the right combination of exterior circumstances. And though Mr. Palomar has nothing against contemplation in principle, none of these three conditions applies to him. Finally, it is not the waves that he means to look at, but just one individual wave. In his desire to avoid vague sensations, he establishes for his every action a limited and precise object. Mr. Palomar sees a wave rise in the distance, grow, approach, change form and color, fold over itself, break, vanish, and flow again. At this point he could convince himself that he has concluded the operation he had set out to achieve, and he could go away. But isolating one wave is not easy. Separating it from the wave immediately following, which seems to push it and at times overtakes it and sweeps it away. And it is no easier to separate that one wave from the preceding wave, which seems to drag it toward the shore, unless it turns against the following wave, as if to arrest it. Then, if you consider the breadth of the wave parallel to the shore, it is hard to decide where the advancing front extends regularly and where it is separated and segmented into independent waves, distinguished by their speed, shape, force, direction. In other words, you cannot observe a wave without bearing in mind the complex features that concur in shaping it and the other equally complex ones that the wave itself originates. These aspects vary constantly, so each wave is different from another wave, even if not immediately adjacent or successive. In other words, there are some forms and sequences that are repeated, though irregularly distributed in space and time. Since what Mr. Palomar means to do at this moment is simply see a wave, that is, to perceive all its simultaneous components without overlooking any of them, his gaze will dwell on the movement of the wave that strikes the shore until it can record aspects not previously perceived. As soon as he notices that the images are being repeated, he will know he has seen everything he wanted to see, and he will be able to stop. A nervous man, who lives in a frenzied and congested world, Mr. Palomar tends to reduce his relations with the outside world, and to defend himself against the general neurasthenia, he tries to keep his sensations under control in so far as possible. The hump of the advancing wave rises more at one point than at any other, and it is here that it becomes hemmed in white. If this occurs at some distance from the shore, there is time for the foam to fold over upon itself and vanish again, as if swallowed, and at the same moment invade the whole, but this time emerging again from below, like a white carpet rising from the bank to welcome the wave that is arriving. But just when you expect that wave to roll over the carpet, you realize it is no longer wave, but only carpet, and this also rapidly disappears to become a glinting of wet sand that quickly withdraws, as if driven back by the expansion of the dry, opaque sand that moves its jagged edge forward. At the same time, the indentations and the brow of the wave must be considered where it splits into two wings, one stretching toward the shore from right to left and the other from left to right, and the departure point or the destination of their divergence or convergence is this negative tip, which follows the advance of the wings, but is always
Sample complete. Ready to continue?